Honest, yet private. There's a lot that goes on in the INFJ's head that they rather not express outwardly. Whether it be related to their unique imagination, how they handle day-to-day life, or the things they're just too nice to admit to others. There are a few things the average INFJ could get off their chest. So, we'll just do it for them. Welcome or welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it. Starting with number 1. We are always reflecting on how life led up to certain experiences. Being the calculative philosopher they are, the INFJ's outlook on life and the things they've experienced or are to experience come with a ruminating factor that leaves them in awe. While some personality types take life day by day, not really thinking too far into things, the INFJ can't help but to analyze every little interaction, encounter, decision, and person they come across. Despite being future-focused, the INFJ often contemplates just how they ended up being who they are in the present moment, with who they're with and where they are in life. They're constantly trying to find the patterns and connections of their past in hopes that it will give them an idea of what their direction should be for the future. An example of this that most INFJ can relate to is when they meet someone they cherish. They will often retrace their steps from the past weeks, months, and years, questioning what would have happened if they didn't make certain moves along the way. Number 2. We are never sure of ourselves. When the INFJ has made up their mind, they can easily convince everyone around them that their decision is set in stone. By convincing themselves in the process, the INFJ's assured outlook makes them seem like there's no chance they could ever change their mind. Yet, deep down, every INFJ knows that they're not as sure of themselves as they seem to think they are in the moment. Whether it be in making major life decisions like changing careers, simple day-to-day choices like what menu item to get at a restaurant, or cutting someone out of their lives for their own mental peace. INFJs habitually take the long road to come to their final conclusion by thinking, evaluating, rethinking, and re-evaluating every possible outcome. This lengthy decision-making process may make it seem nearly impossible for them to ever go with the wrong choice, but exposing their imagination to other possibilities actually just makes their decision more difficult and less stable. That's all to say, it's not uncommon for the INFJ to go back to an ex whom they swore they were over, or even go as far as to ask for their position back at their previous employer. The worst of it all is when emotion overtakes their logic, leaving them to make decisions that contradict the ones they made in a more logical state of mind. Number 3. We dread spending time with most of my friends. While it may not be a surprise to most introverts, the INFJ personality type can't help but to feel a sense of dread when it comes to making plans with their friends and acquaintances. In fact, this is one of the main reasons this personality type is known to be much better lovers than they are friends. Once someone has integrated their lives with the INFJ, they get used to having them around. However, when the INFJ is pulled from their everyday life of solitude to spend time with their friends on occasion, it can cause an uproar of internal reluctance. On one side of things, this has to do solely with the INFJ's preference for their introverted lifestyle. However, there's another aspect to this dread that will ring true to some INFJs, and that's the fact that they have a tendency to attract people who want something from them. Whether it be their caring personality, their inability to set boundaries, or their light-hearted aura, every INFJ has ended up as an unpaid counselor at one point or another, leaving them emotionally and mentally drained. It's no wonder why INFJs would be reluctant to lend out their precious energy. Which brings us to number 4. We feel strongest about the people we love when they're not around. Sure, the INFJ may not exactly feel excited to spend time with each person they value in their lives, but that doesn't mean they don't care for them immensely. In fact, INFJs often come to their emotional senses once they've had the proper alone time to ruminate in the comfort of their minds. It's known that distance makes the heart grow fonder, but for the INFJ, this distance is actually crucial for them to conclude whether or not they see that person worthy enough of their time. It's in their own private thoughts that INFJs reflect on just how much people mean to them, where they can sort through all the minor details of conversations, interactions, and gestures that were exchanged. This is the process that allows the INFJ's introverted intuition to internally interact with the findings their extroverted feeling and sensing functions have picked up along the way, an important aspect of the INFJ bonding process. Number 5. If you want our real opinion, ask directly. INFJs are known to be too empathetic for their own good. Conflict avoidant, the INFJ personality type often holds back on the issues they have with those they build connections with in hopes that they will dissipate on their own, although rarely the case. In relation to this difficulty in setting boundaries and speaking their mind, the INFJ avoids completely telling it like it is unless they're asked to directly. Due to their self-awareness, INFJs know they can be rather hypocritical, often at the most uncalled for times. And while they may have great insights and wisdom beyond their years, they don't feel it's their place to fix others in any way, no matter how much they think someone could benefit from their perspective. In fact, since they're so fearful of hurting others' feelings, the INFJ tends to sugarcoat the opinions that others ask of them, despite their ability to be extremely blunt and forward. So, if you want a real and raw opinion, INFJ is definitely the person to go to. You just have to ask for the real deal and not be hurt when it's presented. Number 6. Our pestering idea to constantly improve can be quite unbearable. The people who have INFJ in their lives, knowingly or not, often look up to them as motivation for their ability to be constantly working on themselves in one way or another. And while INFJs do indeed have the determination to act as a quiet leader to others in need of a role model, deep down inside, sometimes they wish they didn't have to be so determined. The underlying perfectionism and self-criticisms causes the INFJ to never be quite satisfied with the life they're living. As soon as they reach the milestone they longed for in life, career, success, or relationships, they're already thinking of the next one, without even stopping to give themselves a pat on the back. Sure, they go through amazing bouts of changing their lives for the better, but in the end, it's seriously exhausting, and often feels more like a curse than a gift. And lastly, number 7, our darkness runs deep, but it's not evil. The yin to their yang, INFJs have an inherently dark undercurrent that runs parallel to their empathetic and altruistic nature. A counterpart of themselves that they hardly ever expose, never mind take notice to. The INFJ has a certain cold and calculative side to them that they prefer not to put in power. There are thoughts and ideas that they would never tell a single soul. Opinions and judgments that they wouldn't express to their worst enemies. Dark humor that would only entertain the slightly insane. And opinions of what an ideal life would look like that they wouldn't dare to tell another soul. Their mind has the ability to take them to rather strange places quite quickly, and despite their preference to withhold these thoughts from others, this facet to their imagination actually allows for some of their most brilliant conclusions about life and people. With all that being said, it's necessary to clarify that although dark in nature at times, this shadowed side of the INFJ type is rarely evil or spiteful, but instead comes with the notion that of philosophical existential nihilism, or the idea that life is rather meaningless in the end. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, let us know in the comments below if you can relate to these INFJ confessions, or if you have a confession that we didn't mention in today's list. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.